One Sunday morning, a few months ago, I was lounging in bed at my boyfriend's house, and he was playing his viola. He's a classically trained viola player. It was such a beautiful moment. He's got this big mural of trees hanging on the wall, and the sun was streaming through the windows, and there was a gentle breeze blowing through the open window. It was the perfect morning. I was lying there naked, listening to him playing, and I was thinking, this is the life. I've waited for this all my life. I feel safe. I realized in that moment that we were the kind of lovers who would find each other in every lifetime, in any setting. I closed my eyes and I imagined us in 1880s Paris, in 1920s Vienna, in 1950s New York, 1960s San Francisco. In my fantasy, I'd reach over to the bedside table and grab whatever writing implements I had there. A typewriter, a piece of parchment and a quill, a legal pad and a ballpoint pen, maybe a tablet and a stylus. He'd sit down on the edge of the bed, and I'd read to him whatever his playing had inspired me to write. And he'd kiss me and play something new that my writing had inspired him to play, and on and on. And then we'd make love and share a cigarette or a joint or a glass of scotch. And a few days later, after we'd been able to get away from our jobs and responsibilities, we'd meet up again, and the magic would happen once more. And in every one of those scenarios, he was a broke musician and I was a broke writer. But our love kept us going. We'd share what little we have, just like we do now. Our love would make me want to write, and it would make him want to make music, and it would inspire generations of other artists. What can I say? I'm a romantic and a poet. He took a break playing to let his fingers rest, and I kind of came out of my fantasy. He leaned in and he kissed me, and I said, "Babe, I think I'm gonna head out. I feel inspired to write." He smiled and he looked me in the eyes and he said, "Of course, my love, it's so good you feel inspired to write." I don't have to tell you that not a lot of men have that reaction when you had plans. It could have gone 1,000 different ways. He could have said, "Come on, we've got plans later," or "Why can't you just write here on your phone?" Or, "Wow, that's inconsiderate." But he didn't. He said, "Do what you gotta do, honey." And then we had a conversation about maybe buying me a typewriter or something I could leave there so I could write when I'm inspired. Since then, he bought me a phone stand and a portable Bluetooth keyboard so I can write wherever I am. Patrick makes me laugh. He makes me feel so alive and so happy. But more than anything, Patrick makes me feel safe. He lets me be me. I may seem eloquent and like I have my shit together, but I'm actually a huge goofball. And with him, I'm able to completely unmask in ways I've not been able to around anyone in my life other than my kids. To give you an idea of what I mean, when I told my teenage son, Dio, that Patrick makes me feel like I can be my completely unhinged self, Dio said, "You should get paid for that." I have had a lot of experience in relationships that did not nurture my creativity. I've been married twice, divorced twice. I've had a few serious relationships and some situationships and some other experiences. Speaking of other experiences, after my divorce in 2020, I embarked on what I like to call a classic post-divorce hoe phase, as one does. Only I didn't. Because I wasn't having fun and enjoying some carnal pleasure. I was looking for love in all the wrong places, in all the wrong ways. I didn't have any fun in my 20s because I was married and giving birth every 2 years, so I had some catching up to do. I had so many interesting experiences that year that I actually created a Google Doc application for potential lovers to fill out to save me some time. I even had a running spreadsheet to keep track of it all, complete with a star rating system so I could go back and remember what I liked and didn't. It didn't stop there. If the experience turned into a relationship, which of course inevitably failed, I would also create a PowerPoint presentation for myself and my lucky friends to help me understand what went wrong in the relationship, what went right, what I learned, what red flags I missed or ignored. No matter the outcome, every single one of those people taught me something new about myself, about what I need, about ways I could improve. They were all mirrors for me, showing me another facet of myself that I hadn't seen before. And I hope I was the same for them. All this data gathering is how I process the world around me. It's how I make sense of things and make sure no experience is wasted for me. I got my heart broken a lot that year because I'm a poet, I'm an artist. I throw my heart into everything I do or I don't do it at all. I go, pardon the pun, balls to the wall in everything I do. And of course, my friends who love me didn't want to see me hurt, and they would say, Kaighla, take a break. It'll happen when you stop looking. Focus on the kids, focus on your career, focus on yourself. This advice was really frustrating for me because, for one thing, all I ever do is focus on the kids. I'm a single mother. Day and night, night and day, I'm focusing on the kids. Also, what do you mean, love yourself? Is there a universal curriculum for loving oneself that I'm unaware of? Can I get a certificate afterwards to display on my Tinder profile that proves I'm ready for the chance to be loved? And how do you expect to find something you've stopped looking for? That's like saying, hey, you'll get a job when you stop applying. Dating is practice, and you're telling me I'll only find true love if I skip leg day? And then I met Patrick. On Tinder, might I add. And we fell in love, and I realized something interesting. I have never, ever loved myself. Now, don't get me wrong. I have excellent self-esteem and a lot of respect for myself. I have accomplished so much. I'm a badass. I respect my tenacity, my strength, my ability to survive things that would kill most other people, my willingness to speak truth to justice no matter the risk, but not my beauty, not my nurturing personality, my ability to forgive and forgive again and again, not my passion or my sensuality, which is magical. Not me now as I am in my soft girl era. The root of the issue is my hyper-masculine academic training that mistook beauty for weakness, that could only appreciate art for the hard work it took to create, not the incandescent feelings it creates for viewers. It wasn't until Patrick showed me for the first time what it felt like to be truly loved, not for what I could give him, not for what I could do for him, not for how I could help raise him up, but just simply for me, that I discovered I'm worthy of love, just as I am. I also learned for the first time, unfortunately and shockingly, that I can't earn love. I say unfortunately because the problem with not being able to earn love is that you have to just trust it. And that was so scary at the beginning. If there are no side benefits to being loved by me, what will make him stay when I'm less than pleasant? When my beauty fades, when I'm grumpy and hangry and altogether unsexy? What can I fall back on as evidence that I've added value to his life when I inevitably let him down? How can I justify the space I take up in his life if all he wants from me is me? But Patrick loves me, despite the times I am unable to give him a 5-star experience, despite the times I've been less than stellar. I was also afraid because this love came too easily, too freely, too eagerly. I haven't suffered for it. I haven't bargained for it. I haven't made secret oaths with the ether or wept myself dry for it. Usually I must break my bones and crack the skin on my hands trying to squeeze out the tiniest drop of something like love. But not this time. I simply showed up as my authentic self, and then he loved me. And that scared the shit out of me because it can't possibly last. These things just don't happen to me. For all that I've been told I'm too much, I've never been enough to tempt a man to stay with me without first marching down the streets of his proverbial city with elephants and flamingos and baskets of gold like Aladdin, without twisting myself into increasingly painful postures to prove how flexible I am, how willing I am to abandon myself in all the ways. But Patrick wants me. He craves me, not when I've lost 50 pounds, not when I've shaved every square inch of my body or played a part to keep things interesting, but now and yesterday and tomorrow, exactly as I am. Knowing him and being known by him invites me to know myself in a new and terrifying way. Who am I now that he's chosen me for me? Who have I been all along beneath this carefully crafted facade of desirable? Groucho Marx famously said that he refused to join any club that would have him as a member. And I can relate. Like many artists, I have a terrifying inner critic. The first time Patrick told me he loved me, it took all my effort not to respond with, terrible decision. Because the first thought that came to my mind back then was, either he's lying, or he wants something, or he has terrible taste. Like, have you met another living woman? I can introduce you to some truly incredible women. Is it any wonder that I've almost exclusively chosen men who feel familiar because they make me feel the way my inner critic makes me feel? Being loved by Patrick is getting easier and easier because I see how much he also deserves my love, flawed and human as he is. His quirks are endearing. His imperfections are a kind of maker's mark. He deserves my love just as he is. So maybe, just maybe, I deserve his too. But the most important thing I've learned from being loved by Patrick and loving him is that self-love is really just another way to say self-trust. At the end of the day, the reason it's so important to cultivate a healthy relationship with yourself is not that without it you're unlovable or somehow unqualified for the job. Self-love is insurance against destruction. Self-love says, I'm not afraid of what will happen if this person breaks my heart because I've got me. I will nurse myself back to health. I will carry myself through this, as I have all those other times when things didn't go how I wanted them to. I can safely and completely love Patrick and let him love me because I know I'm safe with myself no matter what happens. And I am learning for the first time in my life to rest in the now. It doesn't matter if he breaks my heart one day. What matters is that I'm doing what I was born to do, to love with all my heart and soul, with fierce and fearless abandon. What matters is that we're nurturing each other and inspiring one another now. And now is all we have anyway. And that can never, ever be a waste of time or energy. What could possibly be more worthwhile than loving someone with all your heart and seeing the fruits of it in real time?